long game needs the recovery. Recovery is infrastructure, not as weakness, not as the uncomfortable rupture of the ground inherited, but as the load-bearing wall of the compound. Without the recovery, the compound stalls at the level where the disk starts running higher than the daily deposit. The long game needs the fire and the cooling needs the stress and the adaptation. The long game needs the recovery, that's the foundation. I used to play the short game schedule into the decades frame. The long game needs the recovery. They're not the same. The long game needs the recovery. Built into the play. The long game needs the recovery. The decade thinking man protects the recovery like the session, same level. The long game needs the recovery. That's the rebel and the sustainable and the lasting. The long game needs the recovery. That's the casting. Recovery ends at year 3 for most. The discovery of the burnout at the bottom of the skip. Restoration is a campaign in the middle of the decade's navigation. The ones who build across the decade learn the hard way, or the instructed way, that the recovery has a hard say in whether the decade gets completed or gets ended. The long game needs the recovery comprehended. To play the short game schedule into the decades frame. The long game needs the recovery. They're not the same. The long game needs the recovery. To the plan, the long game needs the recovery. The decade thinking man protects the recovery like the session, same level. The long game needs the recovery. That's the rebel and the sustainable and the lasting. The long game needs the recovery. That's the casting. The plane lands to refuel, not because it's surrendered, because it's going further. Toward the resting, caught it retreat in my head, caught it the weakness showing, caught it surrender instead of the honest red of the fuel level in the system running. Caught myself mistranslating the signal and the cunning of the discipline that knows the difference between the stop and the refuel, between the quit and the strategic drop into the recovery that enables the continued flight. Refueling is not retreating, refueling is the ride. Used to read every rest is the retreat from the advance. Not retreating. Refueling is the stat. Refueling is not retreating. It's the discipline to last. Refueling is not retreating. It's the long game's demand for the maintenance of the system that resting before the work's done and found it hollow. The rest that comes before the urn sits in a shallow pool of guilt that flavors everything about the session. The body still, but the mind runs after Norse confession. The skipped and the deferred and the unfinished list. Unrest is the borrowed comfort that gets missed when the bill arrives in the middle of the supposed release. Unrest hits different, unrest arrives in peace. I used to take the rest before the work because the body asks. Unrest hits different, the earned is built to last. Unrest hits different, lands with a different way. Rest hits different, the body and the mind in a clean state. No debt, running underneath the quiet of the lie down. Unrest hits different, unrest is the touchdown. After the session, after the hell, unrest hits different, nothing else paralleled. The difference between the earned and the unearned at the rest is the quality of the quiet, the cleanness of the chest, empty of the guilt and the running of the unfinished tab. The earned rest doesn't carry the unearned rest drab. Undercurrent of the avoided and the postponed. The rest is the body claiming what the work is owned into the system, claiming what was promised by the done. Earned rest hits different, earned rest is the one. I used to take the rest before the work because the body asked. Earned rest hits different, the earned is built to last. Discipline isn't just knowing when to push, it's knowing when the tank is genuinely empty and respecting that. The signal's coming clear when the body's genuinely empty. Not the noise of the comfortable objecting to the plenty of the work still left, but the honest system reading of the actual reserve available. The leading indicator of the diminishing returns below the floor of the productive, the point where the adding of more produces less than less, the point where the compound starts to run backwards. Know when you're full, know when the session's done. I used to ignore the genuine emptying, call it an excuse. Know when you're full, the discipline of reading the actual use. Know when you're full, the discipline of the honest read, the discipline of what you need to stop the discipline, the trust in the signal. The discipline of rest is the distinguishing between the comfortable objecting and the genuine diminishing of the actual reserve. Both arrive with similar language, both say I'm done, but only one is speaking from the anguish of the actual envy. Learn to read the quality of the signal, the texture of the genuine and the folly of the comfortable disguise. The system's real report, know when you're full, know when to cut it short. I used to ignore the genuine empty and call it an excuse. Know when you're full, the discipline of skip it and the program breaks. Read the program like the session was the only active part. Read the recovery like the optional, the soft restart. That the discipline could skip and still arrive intact at the next session with the full capacity to act. Found out the recovery is the active ingredient that makes the next session possible at all. The precedent for the compound isn't the load, it's the load and the rest. Recovery is part of the program, that's the manifest. I used to skip the recovery like it was the easy part. Recovery is part of the program. Recovery is the recovery is part of the program, not the optional addition. Recovery is part of the program, built into the mission of the compound, built into the architecture of the long. Recovery is part of the program. The session gets more strong when the recovery holds its place. Recovery is part of the program. That's the base. The adaptation happens in the recovery, not the low. The growth happens between the sessions on the recovery road. The session applies the stimulus. The recovery is where the body responds to the stimulus in the quiet air. The between, skip the between, and the stimulus stacks. Without the response, without the adaptation that tracks into the compound, into the next level of the capable. Recovery is part of the program, the admirable. I used to skip the recovery like it was the easy part. Recovery is part of the program. Recovery is the recovery is part of the program, not the optional addition. Recovery is part of the program, built into the mission of the compound, built into the architecture of the long. Recovery is part of the program. The session gets more strong when the recovery holds its place. Recovery is part of the program. That's the base. Hey! Recovery as part of the program, not optional. Spent years treating rest like the enemy. Found out rest was the ally I kept firing. Yeah, built the culture of the grinding as the only honest way. Built the skip the rest, push through, don't stop along the way. Philosophy for years until the structure started cracking at the seams. Nobody photographed the silent cost of lacking the recovery that makes the next session possible to run. Push through every warning till the warning was outdone. But the actual breakdown of the system at the base. Rest is not the enemy, rest is part of the race. I used to treat the rest like failure, dressing comfortable clothes. Rest is not the enemy, rest is where the compound grows. Rest is not the enemy, rest is part of the base. Rest is not the enemy, rest is where the compound fills. It serves back to the level that the next session needs. Rest is not compound ran the deficit too long. The structure built on skip recovery is structurally wrong. Below the surface, not visible until the weight comes. Rest is not the enemy of the discipline. Rest comes from the same source as the discipline. The honest read of what the system needs. Rest is not the enemy, agreed. I used to treat the rest like failure, dressed in comfortable clothes. Rest is not the enemy. Rest is where the compound grows. Rest is not the enemy. Rest is part of the build. Rest is not the enemy. Rest is where the compound fills. It's reserved back to the level that the next session needs. Rest is not the enemy. Rest is how the discipline leads to sustainability. Rest is not the enemy. That's the facility. The culture said sleep was for the weak. The culture was wrong and expensive. Wore the 4 hours like a badge and called it dedication. Wore the running on empty like the price of the station. Of the discipline, believe the culture of the sleep deprived. A lead until the data on they actually thrive. Long term, showed a different picture of the sustainable. The ones who lasted longest weren't the ones who made it painful to exist in the recovery hours. They protected them. Sleep is not weakness, sleep is the discipline stem. I used to ration sleep as proof of how committed I was to the work. Sleep is not weakness. The sleep deprived discipline has a quirk. Sleep is not weakness. Sleep is where the compound runs. Sleep is not weakness. Sleep is where the body's won. The argument between the applied stress and the growth. Sleep is not weakness. I'm protected for them both. The session and the recovery. Sleep is not weakness. That's the discovery. That's the discovery. The decision quality in the sleep deprived session is demonstrably below the rested version's expression of the same capability. The skill level depletes, the reaction time increases, the discipline retreats from the standard it would hold in the recovered state. Sleep is not weakness. Sleep decides the rate of the quality of everything the waking hours produce. Sleep is not weakness. Sleep is the most honest use. I used to ration sleep as proof of how committed I was to the work. Sleep is not weakness. The sleep deprived discipline has a quirk. Sleep is not weakness. Sleep is where the compound runs. Sleep is not weakness. Sleep is where the body's won. The argument between the applied stress and the growth. Sleep is not weakness. I'm protected for them both. The session and the recovery. Sleep is not weakness. That's the discovery. takes courage. Stopping at the right time takes a different kind. The discipline the culture celebrates is all about the going, all about the not stopping, the pushing past the slowing of the body and the mind, all about the grinding through. Found a discipline that's talked about and just as true. The discipline of stopping when the stopping is the right move. The discipline of reading the signal in the groove of the session that says done is actually done today. The discipline of stopping, that's the heart of play. I used to treat the stopping like a failure of the will. The discipline of stopping is the harder discipline. The discipline of stopping at the right time and the right rate. The discipline of stopping before the deficit takes seed in the system and runs the compound down below the line. The discipline of stopping, knowing when the done is fine. Not quitting, knowing when to close. The discipline of stopping, that's what grows. The elite know when to stop as precisely as when to go. Know the difference between the productive and the low return on the continue pushing past the useful limit. Know that the extra session at the wrong time has diminished returns below the cost of the recovery required. Know the discipline of stopping is the discipline that's hired by the long game alongside the discipline of the start. The discipline of stopping, that's the harder art. I used to treat the stopping like a failure of the will. The discipline of stopping is the harder discipline. The discipline of stopping at the right time and the right rate. The discipline of stopping before the deficit takes seed in the system and runs the compound down below the line. The discipline of stopping, knowing when the done is fine. Not quitting, knowing when to close. The discipline of stopping, that's what grows. Discipline of stopping, harder than the start. Not every session needs to be the hardest. The quiet session has its own discipline. The quiet session is the one that runs at 60% below the ceiling of the capable, deliberately sent into the range of the recovery. The body moving clean through the motion without the grinding and without the mean of the maximum. The quiet session is intentional and disciplined in its own way. The conventional wisdom says push harder every time, but the conventional wisdom doesn't hold the long game in the devotional. I used to feel the quiet session as the failure of the standard. The quiet session has its own discipline. That's the answer. The quiet session, moving clean below the ceiling. The quiet session, the discipline of the feeling of the body and the honesty of what it needs to do. The quiet session, 60% is still a day of the showing and the moving. The quiet session, that's the long game's proven. The quiet session teaches the body different things than the heart. The quiet session is the active recovery's guard against the accumulated low running into the wall. The quiet session is the discipline that answers the call of the body, asking for the easier day without the guilt is deliberately built into the program by the ones who read the long game right. The quiet session, 60%, that's tonight.
I used to feel the quiet session as the failure of the standard. The quiet session has its own discipline. That's the answer.
Quiet session, moving clean below the ceiling. The quiet session, the discipline of the feeling of the body and the honest read of what it needs to do. The quiet session, 60% is still a day of the showing and the moving. The quiet session,
That's the long game's proven.
quiet session, stay present, still discipline.
Not every season is the building season. Some seasons are for restoring what the building used.
The soil that never rests stops producing at the rate that the farmer needs. The field that never lies fallow at the gate of the season where the restoration happens builds a deficit beneath the surface that the next planting fills with diminishing return. The restoration season isn't failure, isn't surrender, isn't losing the reason for the whole campaign. The restoration season is the smart long game read of the season of restoration's art.
I used to push through every season like the rest was losing time.
The season of restoration, that's the discipline's design. The season of restoration, building the reserve. The season of restoration is what the long game serves. With the deliberate withdrawal from the pushing into the quiet. The season of restoration, the discipline's riot. Against the burning through. The season of gym too far, the schedule too full, the situation brewing against the discipline, against the showing up, against the plan. Then I looked at every condition and I traced it back to the hand that said it. The same hand that was now complaining loud about the situation it had authored in the crowd of choices made a season back when nobody was watching close. I set the conditions, that's the ownership diagnosis.
I used to blame the environment for the outcomes it produced.
I set the conditions, that means I set the new ones now. Introduce. I set the conditions. If I don't like what I see, I set the conditions. New ones built deliberately. The environment is not a given, it's a choice made over time. I set the conditions. Every single one is mine, not a victim of the setting. I set the conditions.
No forgetting.
Design the morning like an architect with purpose in the plan. Removed every friction point between intention and the man who executes it. Built the environment to make the hard thing easy. Built the layout of the life to make the discipline less breezy to avoid. Put the tools exactly where I need them at the door. Set the conditions so that doing is the path of least ignored. Now the environment is a collaborator, not a wall. I set the conditions, I set the conditions for it all.
I used to blame the environment for the outcomes it produced.
I set the conditions, that means I set the new ones now. Introduce. I set the conditions. If I don't like what I see, I set the conditions. New ones built deliberately. The environment is not a given, it's a choice made over time. I set the conditions. Every single one is mine, not a victim of the setting. I set the conditions.
No forgetting.
I set the conditions.
The contract I'm complaining about,
I signed it. Call myself complaining about a situation that I'd made. Every condition that was bothering me, I'd laid in place with choices made across the previous months and years. Every arrangement that was now producing friction and the fears had a signature at the bottom of the page and it was mine. I'd written the conditions, I'd agreed to every line. Couldn't claim the victim of a contract I had authored. I wrote the conditions, ownership restored.
I used to treat my circumstances like a weather I've been given.
I wrote the conditions, that means I'm the one who's driven. I wrote the conditions, I can rewrite them from here. I wrote the conditions, the authorship is clear. Every situation I'm in has my handwriting below. I wrote the conditions, and the conditions can go into revision, into new. I wrote the conditions, I can write them through. Not every condition is fully authored by my hand. Some things arrive from outside what I planned, but my response to every one of those is mine to write. My interpretation, my next move, my chosen fight or adaptation. Every second, every condition starts with what I do with what I'm given. That's the parts that ownership controls completely without exception. I wrote the conditions
circumstances like a weather I've been given. I wrote the conditions. That means I'm the one who's driven. I wrote the conditions. I can't rewrite them from here. I wrote the conditions. The authorship is clear. Every situation I'm in has my handwriting below. I wrote the conditions. And the conditions can go into revision. Into no. I wrote the conditions. I can write them through. I wrote the conditions. Rewriting now. Used to run everywhere. Found out the destination doesn't move. Yeah. Used to feel the urgency in every single thing I touch. Used to rush the rep, rush the red, rush the building just as much as I could stand. Like the arrival had a closing time. Like the version I was building was expiring past the line that I was always slightly late for, always slightly behind. Ran myself into the ground for a deadline in my mind that didn't actually exist. The destination doesn't leave. I'm not in a hurry anymore because I finally believe I was running like the thing I'm building. Had a sell by day. I'm not in a hurry anymore. The long game doesn't operate. I'm not in a hurry anymore. The long game has no clock. Not the quarter, not the year. Not the trending talk that says you're falling behind some imaginary pace. I'm not in a hurry anymore. I'm building at my place. No deadline, no expiry. Just the work and the long game's inquiry. Slowed the pace down and the quality of the work went up. Slowed the pace down and found the depth inside the cup that the rushing had been skipping every time I pushed too fast. Slowed the pace down and found the long game built to last. More than the sprinted version, more than the urgency produced. The unhurried work has a different texture when it's loose from the artificial timeline of the anxious and the rushed. I'm not in a hurry anymore. The long game can be put. I was running like the thing I'm building. Had a sell by day. I'm not in a hurry anymore. The long game doesn't operate. I'm not in a hurry anymore. The long game has no clock. Not the quarter, not the year. Not the trending talk that says you're falling behind some imaginary pace. I'm not in a hurry anymore. I'm building at my place. No deadline, no expiry. Just the work and the long game's inquiry. Not in a hurry, long game, build the pipes before you build the house. Build the foundation before the walls. Everyone wants the house, but nobody wants to build the pipes. Nobody wants
across the invisible infrastructure. Everyone swipes toward the visible, the finish, the result without the base. Infrastructure first is the long game's unpopular embrace of the boring preparatory work that nobody sees. The routing of the system underneath the laying of the key. To every door the future version opens down the road. Infrastructure first, that's the long game's code. I used to skip to the results and wonder why the structure failed. Infrastructure first, that's the lesson the long game unveiled. Infrastructure first, the pipes before the walls, the habits before the outcomes, the foundation before the halls of what the finished thing becomes when everything is done. Infrastructure first, that's how the long games run. Not the house, not yet. Infrastructure first, lay the net. Sleep before the output, movement before the desk, recovery before the rep, the routine before the test of the performance, the system before the individual result. Infrastructure first at every level, that's the adult long game. Players approach building the pipes to hold the flow before you try to move the water. Let the infrastructure grow invisible for longer than it's comfortable to wait. Infrastructure first, that's the long game's patient game. I used to skip to the results and wonder why the structure failed. Infrastructure first, that's the lesson the long game unveiled. Infrastructure first, the pipes before the walls, the habits before the outcomes, the foundation before the halls of what the finished thing becomes when everything is done. Infrastructure first, that's how the long games run. Not the house, not yet. Infrastructure first, lay the net. Infrastructure first, pipes before walls. Back before I could read the label, opened it years later. Some of it came down the bloodline, back before I arrived. Shame that belonged to someone else, preserved and survived into the next generation without a forwarding note. Just the weight and the posture and the stories they wrote around the dinner table, in the silence and the look, and the things nobody said out loud but everybody took home inside their chest and handed further down the line. Traced the weight back to its origin, found out none of it was mine. I didn't choose the luggage, but I'm choosing to set it down. Inherited weight gets returned to the ground. Inherited weight, I'm putting it back. Now my generation's dead, not carrying the stack. Every shame that came before me had a different name attached. Inherited weight, the cycle stops, the chain gets detached. Not mine to keep, not mine to pass. This is where the inherited weight ends at last. At last. Took the inventory of what was actually mine to own versus what got loaded on me in a house I didn't choose. Found a clear dividing line between the earned and the imposed, between the shame I genuinely built and what was grandfathered and closed into a contract I was born into without a signature. Now I'm signing off on every clause that doesn't fit the figure of the man I'm actually building, of the life I'm choosing now. Inherited weight gets returned and this is how. I didn't choose the luggage, but I'm choosing to set it down. Inherited weight gets returned to the ground. Inherited weight, I'm putting it back. Not my generation's dead, not carrying the stack. Every shame that came before me had a different name attached. This one's like the room up in the opening months. Watch the training camp videos and the preseason stunts. For the motivation, watch the fire burn, visible and white. And watch the same ones quiet down when the intensity dried into the ordinary and the sustainable and the long. Found out the intense ones burn the brightest and then gone, while the consistent ones are still in the room at the end. Intensity burns, consistency builds, that's the trend.
I used to chase the intensity because it felt like proof.
Intensity burns, consistency builds, that's the actual truth. Intensity burns, consistency builds the thing that lasts. Intensity has the highlight reel, consistency has the stats that matter in the long game, the body built in years. Intensity burns, consistency clears the field in the long run. Intensity burns, contestants say what? Intensity has its place, but not in every single week of the long campaign. The sustainable is what compounds. The sustainable is what the year 5 version bounds into a thing the year 1 intensity could never build alone. Intensity burns, consistency's the stone, laid into the structure that the fire couldn't make. Intensity burns, consistency's the stake.
I used to chase the intensity because it felt like proof. Intensity burns, consistency builds, that's the actual truth. Intensity burns, consistency builds the thing that lasts.
Intensity has the highlight reel, consistency has the stats that matter in the long game, the body built in years. Intensity burns, consistency clears the field in the long run. Intensity burns, contestants say what?
Until the moment it
Shows up loud. Strangers collecting nothing anyone can measure or see. Quiet hours, quiet choices, nothing flashy, nothing free. The growth was happening in basements, happening in the dark, while the visible world was watching someone else's spark. Didn't have a highlight reel, didn't have a crowd to clap, just a slow and silent building underneath the surface map. Now the evidence is walking, now the silence finally pays. Invisible for years and then it shows up overnight, they say.
I used to need the witness, used to need the world to see. Now I trust the growth that happens when there's no one watching me.
Invisible growth, building in the quiet hours. Nobody saw the seed, but everyone will see the flowers. The work was never loud, the work was never seen. Invisible growth, that's the only proven scheme. Silent for the years it took, loud the moment that it shook. Watch the ones who needed proof, every single step they made. Watch them quit when no one noticed, watch the hunger start to fade. I learned to feed myself on evidence that no one else could trace. The quiet kind of growth that doesn't happen on a stage. Every rep done in the empty room became a hidden stone, building something massive while the whole world looked at someone else's throne. Now it's standing here in front of them and they don't understand. This invisible growth was always built with these two hands.
I used to need the witness, used to need the world to see. Now I trust the growth that happens when there's no one watching me.
Invisible growth, building in the quiet hours. Nobody saw the seed, but everyone will see
loud the moment that it shook. Invisible. Growth. Now it shows. Watched others bend under pressure long enough to know what it takes from them. Watch the ones who bend a little every time the room applied. Watched each small concession compound over years inside. What started as a reasonable adjustment to the scene became the whole identity, became everything between who they were when they arrived and who they were at the end. Couldn't find the starting point beneath the years of bend. Watched the bending cost them something that they couldn't name precisely, just the feeling of a stranger in the mirror looking sideways. I saw the cost of bending in the faces of the ones who bend too far. I've seen what bending costs, and that's why I hold the bar. I've seen what bending costs across the years of watching close. Seen the price compounding in the ones who bent the most. Not dramatic, not a single break, just slow erosion of the core. I've seen what bending costs, and I won't pay that anymore. Hold the line, hold the code. I've seen what bending costs on that road. Some bending is legitimate, some growth requires a flex. Some changes adaptation, and some changes what comes next. On the journey of becoming, I'm not talking about that kind. I'm talking about the bending where you leave the core behind. Where the accommodation isn't growth but is the trade of the fundamental for the comfort of the room you've made. Your address, I've seen what that bending costs in full. I've seen what bending costs, and that's the pull I resist. I saw the cost of bending in the faces of the ones who bend too far. I've seen what bending costs, and that's why I hold the bar. I've seen what bending costs across the years of watching close. Seen the price compounding in the ones who bent the most. Not dramatic, not a single break, just slow erosion of the core. I've seen what bending costs, and I won't pay that anymore. Hold the line, hold the code. I've seen what bending costs on that road. I say what bending costs all day. Exactly where I folded, I keep that address. There's a version of that day I replay when I'm getting weak. Walk
Walked into the hardest set and let my body speak for me. Quit one rep before the breakthrough, told myself I tried. Caught it listening to my limits, really I just lied. Carried that one moment like a scar I wouldn't show. Used it as a compass every time I wanna go slow. Cause the worst part wasn't failing, failing's just a single page. The worst part was the quiet choice to walk off of the stage. I gave that day the power to decide who I would be. Took the power back the moment that I stopped agreeing. Last time I folded, I remember every detail. Use it as the fire, never let the memory fail. Every rep I push right now is paying back that debt. Last time I folded was the last time I won't forget. I carry it like fuel, not shit. I carry it to never fold again. Fold again. Some carry shame like it's a sentence. Dragging through the years, I carry mine like evidence. The proof of why I'm here. Every quitting point I memorized became a marker on the map, showing me exactly where the old me used to snap.